is your conscious decision, when does that happen, to jump roll and get this Thai operation going again?
Firstly, as with a lot of things, um, you ask somebody that you trust. And I said to Michael, look, do you think I could get out from under this? And he says, I think it's going to be pretty hard. You can't even get a passport. They'll be all over you, any application you make. So the more difficult it gets, then your old self comes back. You know, the Shaun that used to fight any battle and take any on any adversary, no matter what. So I, of course, plotted a way to do it that I thought would work. It became very difficult to get false passports in the way that I used to. I began by using the Day of the Jackal method, and I'll call it that because my first fake ones came from following the instructions as laid out by old Freddie Forsyth. Thanks, Fred, for an early start. By going to a graveyard, finding somebody who died in infancy, getting a copy of that birth certificate, knowing that they never would have had a passport, and simply applying for it using some bogus counter-signatory of the local priest or whatever. Always quite a good one. They hate talking to priests. So, but that kind of dried up. So because they were checking the person who countersigned it. As with a British passport today, you might notice when renewing them that they're only really happy if the countersignature has his own passport and can be checked because they put that number in. In other words, unless you've got somebody who's prepared to risk his professional career by signing to a lie that you were somebody else, it won't work. Well, not quite. If you persuade a friend to apply for the passport himself, go through all of the stages, and in this case I did, he went to his dentist who countersigned it, brought back all the papers. And I said to Paul, right, I take all of these and we put them aside. And if the story ever comes up, you thought of traveling, but at the last minute you didn't have enough money or you didn't put in your application, threw it all out. And some scoundrel, shocked I am to hear this, but some scoundrel's obviously taken those papers and substituted his own photograph, copying the dentist's signature on the back. So if they rang the dentist and said, did you sign this application? Yes, I did. He was in the other day. They're not going to go to the trouble of saying exactly what does this guy look like. So that worked. And I had to go and see this man very secretly, so I had to drop all the shadows. I left my car in a special place. I sent my phone on another journey. And I wanted a backup one as well. So I got a New Zealand passport, which you can apply for from Australia at the time. And then another one, a British one, which I'm entitled to because I was born here. So, pretty good. I can get out of the country. I fly to Thailand, having kind of said goodbyes in a roundabout way to everybody that was close to me. But not enough because people talk. It sounds cruel, but if pretty much your mother is the only person you're going to be able to say, look, I'm leaving, and you won't see me for a while, because your girlfriend's going to tell her best friend, and
how does that feel, telling your mum that?
Well, of course, I said, you can travel. I'll see you in Europe. We'll meet up.
I'm surely she's been rooting for you to just get out of prison and settle down in Australia.
Oh, I know that. And but she sort of understood. I'd ended up with a girlfriend there in Australia, and I suppose it was a kind of whirlwind thing, certainly on her part, but I think she was more invested in it than I was. But I remember going home to my mother and saying, look, after a decade, I've spent a night with a girl, and I hadn't done that for so many years. and she's my mother. She doesn't really know what to say, but then again, she was, a woman of the world. And then next minute I was in tears saying it's not the same. So, she understood that this life there was cracked. It was damaged beyond repair.